Today we are sitting with Maria Gonzales. Maria is a talent manager and a merchandiser and has worked with artists such as Kriya Sean, Chad Hugo of the Neptunes, and is working on a documentary about Manny Pacquiao. I said that you're a talent manager and you're a merchandiser, and I know that you have worked in the entertainment industry for years and have done a number of different things. So what would you call yourself?
I call myself more like a connector. You know, I connect the dots with everything that I do, whether it's in management or in merchandising. Everything just sort of needs somebody to keep it together, and that's what I do.
With all that you do, what do you enjoy the most?
Well, I think with everything, like in management and the merchandising side, it's all about the creative, right? What, watching, whether it's watching Chad make a beat or sitting with Krayshawn and creating a jewelry line. That's the best part, is just seeing, allowing the artists to open their minds to do what they do best.
So you're working on a documentary, and Chad is doing the music for it and the soundtrack, right? So it's the score and the soundtrack.
We're doing the score. Part of it is Chad, and the other part is with Hans Zimmer's team.
Got it.
So,
okay.
And then the soundtrack is Yardnoise, which is myself, Chad, and our two other partners, Rob DNA Rivera and Tristan Zesa.
Okay. So how has that process been? I know that you said you've traveled, and just in terms of even just sounds and production, tell me about how that process has been.
So that process is probably the most amazing, one of the most amazing experiences I've had, just because it's helped all of us sort of get back in touch with our own culture. We're all what people call Philams, which is Filipino Americans. So we were all born here. We weren't born in our home country, but we've gone into our home country and into the mountains and recorded native Filipino instruments.
Right, wow.
And then incorporated them into our own sounds. I just came back from the Philippines where the ambassador was hosting a fashion show, and they used some of our music.
Wow.
And Chad was a guest of honor. And shortly after leaving that meeting, found out that we will be up for nominations when it comes to becoming cultural ambassadors of the Philippines. So it's a big accomplishment for us. And then obviously, working along one of Asia's biggest icons and, boxing, his biggest icons, and Manny Pacquiao has been an amazing road for sure.
I want to kind of rewind a little bit. What made you even come into the music industry? What was that? What was it that you loved doing, and what was your passion?
So I came into the music industry actually slightly by accident. I was going to NYU and I needed an internship. I was there for journalism and I needed some type of internship, but for some reason I felt like I don't want to work at a newspaper or a broadcasting outlet. And it just so happened that my roommate was best friends with Sonia Muckle, who was at the time, I can't remember her exact title, but she was heading the publicity at Jive Records. So I became her intern and press, and one of my mentors, my early mentors, Ray Roldan, was there, and I was just so inspired by being able to use words to support creative people, being artists, back then it was Britney and Backstreet Boys and Jars of Clay and Tribe Called Quest. And that was the time, I was sitting there clipping newspaper clips and, stick them on a piece of paper and making copies for everybody, that I realized, what, this is my calling and this is what I want to do.
When you're coming up with just, whatever it is you're working on, whether it's, plans to launch certain things, what inspires you? In terms of coming up with creative ideas?
A lot of the inspiration comes from who I'm working with. And then with Chad, it's just, he has such an eclectic ear.
Right.
And that's the part that inspires you, because one minute he's, ready to make the next hip-hop smash. And then he's like, but I want to do something with indie rock, or, I want to work with the next female.
Yeah.
So it's always, for him, it keeps me knowing what's happening in the music industry, because it kind of keeps me on my toes.
Through your work and working in different mediums and working on different projects, is there something or a message that you want to get out via these mediums, or just for people to associate with you?
I just want the message of positivity and inspiration, because I think that's what I gain out of every experience I have. There's, you know, it's been inspirational, you know, working on this Manny Pacquiao soundtrack, and it's been a very positive experience.
Is there a particular person that maybe you've come across, or maybe you've heard about, that you looked up to?
Honestly, I have to say it's pretty much every woman that I've ever met in the industry, from, you know, someone who was just my intern to, you know, like I said, Sonia Muckle's like the pro and the woman when it came to publicity back then. All the women in the music industry that have just stood their ground and just continued to succeed, that's what inspires me every day to stay here.
Throughout the years of working with different people, different projects, talent, what will you have done, or what will you have accomplished in your career where you feel as if you've really accomplished your goal, mission, purpose in this industry?
Basically, it's something that I'm actually working on now, and it's with the Philippines and the United States. I'm trying to develop a sort of music exchange program where we have kids from the United States go to the Philippines and really like tour the Philippines and all the different regions of the Philippines and the different music, the instruments. The Manny Pacquiao soundtrack, each region of the Philippines is represented by their instruments. So I felt like it would be a great thing to have kids from the US, or even, you know, anywhere from around the world, experience where we found these instruments, see them in their natural sort of setting, and learn about them, and then also give the opportunity to those children in the Philippines to go and explore, you know, the native sounds of, you know, America and Europe, you know, being able to go to New Orleans and hear real jazz, you know, or go, you know, to, you know, Scotland and hear bagpipes, you know. That's just a really big long-term goal of mine, and
I love that.
Hope to accomplish that within my lifetime.
I love it. That is an amazing idea. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure you will. We've really covered, you know, pretty much everything, and learned a lot about you and your career path, and young women, or just even women who are, you know, further in their careers, but maybe they don't love what they're doing, or maybe they need some kind of inspiration or encouragement. You know, it's good for them to hear your story, because really what you've done is you followed what you love and what you enjoy doing, and that takes a lot of courage. I'm glad that you were able to share that with me and with all the people who are watching. You know, it's really appreciated.
Thank you for having me and including me in this amazing project.
Good people, clap, clap, clap.